Hello and welcome to Wrestling in 1995. I am the Maritime Warrior, and today's episode will cover FMW. And as usual, we will be starting in January of 1995. The champions going into 1995 are the FMW Brass Knuckles Heavyweight Champion Atsushi Onita. The FMW Brass Knuckles Tag Team Champions are Mr. Pogo and the Gladiator. The FMW Independent Women's and WWA Women's Championship are vacant. And the FMW Independent Junior Heavyweight Champion is Ricky Fuji. FMW in 1995 is the tale of two stories. One story being the end of the original FMW with Atsushi Onita's retirement, and the second story being this new FMW that would rise from the ashes. Atsushi Onita's retirement was scheduled for May 5th, but it was not the only retirement that we would have that year. On January 5th, Atsushi Onita would battle Sambo Asako in a street fight. Onita would get the win, and that would be Sambo Asako's retirement. Sambo Asako had been one of Atsushi Onita's loyal soldiers since the early days of FMW. The top heel faction in FMW in 1995 is Wing. On January 6th, Wing would win a money on a pole match versus the FMW Army. Also that night, Ricky Fuji would successfully defend his FMW Independent Junior Heavyweight title versus Battle Ranger Z. On January 17th, Wing would put on their own show. They would even book Atsushi Onita to be in the opening match to try and embarrass him. The main event that night was scheduled to be Team FMW's Gosaku Goshogawara, Katsutoshi Niyama, Masato Tanaka, and Mr. Ganosuke versus the Wing Alliance of Hideki Hosaka, the Gladiator, Yukihiro Kanimura, and Mr. Pogo. As the Wing Alliance were waiting for the FMW Army, Atsushi Onita would rush the ring and take Gosaku Goshogawara's place. The FMW Army would get the win, but this was a pro-Wing crowd, so they were not happy. On January 21st, Mr. Pogo, going by the name of King Pogo, beat Atsushi Onita to win the FMW Brass Knuckles Heavyweight title. On February 6th, Hideki Hosaka beat Ricky Fuji to win the FMW Independent Junior Heavyweight title. On February 24th, Atsushi Onita and Mr. Ganosuke would beat Mr. Pogo and the Gladiator to win the FMW Brass Knuckles Tag Team titles. Onita teaming up with Ganosuke would not sit well with Tarzan Goto. He felt he should have been teaming up with Onita, not his student Ganosuke. This would start the Tarzan Goto heel turn, and eventually he would start the faction Lethal Weapon. Onita and Ganosuke would not be champions for very long, as they would lose the titles on March 7th to Wing's Mr. Pogo and Yukihiro Kanimura. On March 15th, Hideki Hosaka would successfully defend his FMW Independent Junior Heavyweight title, beating Battle Ranger Z. On that same night, the main event would see the Great Nita beat King Pogo in a non-title match. On March 30th, Koji Nakagawa beat Hideki Hosaka to win the FMW Independent Junior Heavyweight Championship. Also that night, Bad Nurse Nakamura beat Megumi Kudo to win the FMW Independent Women's Championship and the WWA Women's Championship. The main event that night would once again see King Pogo do battle with the Great Nita. This time, King Pogo got the win. On May 4th, Atsushi Onita would win back the FMW Brass Knuckles Heavyweight Championship after beating his longtime rival, Mr. Pogo. The very next day would be May 5th, and this would be the biggest show of the year, the 6th anniversary show. This would be Atsushi Onita's final match. The original plan would see Atsushi Onita take on Tarzan Goto. But on April 23rd, Tarzan Goto, Mr. Ganosuke, and Onita Jr., who would later wrestle under the name of Flying Kid Ichihara, would all quit FMW at a press conference. It is unknown why Tarzan Goto would leave FMW less than a month of their biggest show they would ever do, but if you go listen to the History of FMW Volume 13, 1995 Part 1 on the Brett FMW YouTube channel, they said that there was a storyline that Onita wanted to do that Tarzan Goto did not want to do. Onita wanted to make Tarzan Goto evil and hated. So Onita wanted Tarzan Goto to create a gimmick where he would join the Eiyum Shinrikyo cult. This cult had literally killed people at Tokyo subways. Goto was supposedly furious with this idea and could be a reason for his departure from FMW. One of the names considered to take Goto's spot on the May 5th main event was Mr. Pogo. But Pogo publicly said he did not want that spot. He was offended that he was not the first choice for Onita's retirement match. It would be announced that Takashi Ishikawa would be Onita's final opponent. But this was just a setup for Onita's real opponent on May 5th, which would be Hayabusa. During the contract signing, Hayabusa would appear and he would beg Atsushi Onita to pick him as his final opponent. Ishikawa would step aside for Hayabusa and this would infuriate Atsushi Onita. But Onita would agree to face Hayabusa and that would be the main event of the May 5th 6th anniversary show. The big May 5th 6th anniversary show had arrived and this would be the biggest show of 1995 with over 58,000 people in attendance. On this show, the original Sheik would wrestle Damien. The original Sheik would get the win, the match only lasting a minute 47. I believe this was the Sheik's final match ever, and I believe the very next day at the airport, the Sheik would suffer a heart attack. Also on this card, we would see the rematch between Megumi Kudo and Bad Nurse Nakamura, where Megumi Kudo would win back both women's titles. Also that night, Hisakatsu Oya and Riki Fuji would win the FMW Brass Knuckles Tag Team titles, beating the wing team of Mr. Pogo and Yukihiro Kanimura. After the match, Mr. Pogo would turn on Yukihiro Kanimura and the Wing Alliance and he would join Lethal Weapon. In the main event, we would see a no-rope, barbed wire, current mine explosion time bomb death match for the FMW Brass Knuckles Heavyweight title. After an epic match and the ring blowing up, Onita would hit his powerbomb for the win. Onita was officially retired and no longer a part of FMW. The new FMW would have Hayabusa as their ace. On June 27th, the vacant FMW Brass Knuckles Heavyweight title would be decided when Hayabusa beat Hisakatsu Uya to win the title. Hayabusa would immediately vacate the title, saying he really wanted to earn this title and this belt was Onita's belt. He wanted a new championship belt made. A tournament would start in August to crown a brand new FMW Brass Knuckles Heavyweight Champion. On September 5th, Daisuke Aikida and Yoshiaki Fujiwara from the Pro Wrestling Fujiwara Gumi promotion would win the FMW Brass Knuckles Tag Team titles after beating Hisakatsu Uya and Riki Fuji. The finals to crown a new FMW Brass Knuckles Heavyweight Champion would take place on September 26th. The finals would see the Gladiator beat Hayabusa to become the new champion. After this tour, Mr. Pogo would leave FMW. On October 25th, the Gladiator would get his first successful title defense versus Horace Boulder. On November 20th, Koji Nakagawa beat Riki Fuji to win the vacant FMW Independent Junior Heavyweight title. Also that night, Shark Tsuchiya beat Megumi Kudo to win both women's titles. On December 10th, Combat Toyota would beat Shark Tsuchiya to win both women's titles. On December 21st, Hisakatsu Uya and Horace Boulder beat Daisuke Aikida and Yoshiaki Fujiwara to win the FMW Brass Knuckles Tag Team titles. The final show of the year would be on December 22nd. The main event that night would see Megumi Kudo beat Shark Tsuchiya in a no-rope barbed wire death match. Combat Toyota would finish 1995 with both women's titles. She would hold both belts until May 5th, 1996, when she would lose them to Megumi Kudo. Koji Nakagawa would finish 1995 as the FMW Independent Junior Heavyweight Champion. He would lose that title on May 5th, 1996 to Taka Michinoku. Hisakatsu Uya and Horace Boulder would finish 1995 as the Brass Knuckles Tag Team Champions, but on January 5th, 1996, they would lose those titles to Jason the Terrible and Super Leather. In December, the Gladiator would vacate the FMW Brass Knuckles Heavyweight Championship. The Gladiator would win back the FMW Brass Knuckles Heavyweight title on May 27th, 1996, beating champion Super Leather. He would then beat Yukihiro Kanimura in December of 1996 to win the FMW Independent Heavyweight title. With this victory, the Gladiator was the first ever FMW double title champion. And that was FMW in 1995. Thank you very much for listening, and I will see you next week.